Michelle, you heard about Dosta. That's a good school. He went there on an academic scholarship, but his parents flipped the script on his ass and was like, "Well, you're going to have to pay for your tuition. You're going to have to pay for your car. You're going to have to pay for your insurance." Like they made him basically totally financially dependent, like, well, responsible for all his stuff overnight, pretty much after he decided not to play football. Okay. Now, the younger one was kind of similar, you know what I'm saying? But he was just more of like I said, he lived at the house, you know what I'm saying? His brother is 22, he's 17. So while his brother was like away at school, he was saying that like he might see his parents like 3 times out the week. You know what I'm
Wait, he
saying?
did. He said he might see his parents or the brother.
The 17-year-old, yeah, the younger brother, you know, because the other brother, he was away at school. The younger brother was still living at the crib, but his
So the
parents,
younger brother was living there, and he
uh-huh,
may see his parents 3 times a week.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
He played
Okay.
football for a little while, but he hated it. He loved music, so he wanted to be in the band. His dad didn't
Aw.
go to none of his performances, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like the football thing. Like they didn't want to play football, so Pops, flipped the script and, was just basically being very um I guess like they just felt like they just didn't have no love. See, like the younger one was more emotionally upset. The older
Mm.
one was more of like he was, like I said, his parents were making him financially responsible for every fucking thing. And it was just like, because he didn't want to do what he wanted, he didn't want to play football. So the younger one, I guess took it upon himself to kind of start this whole attack and turned on the turned the gas on in the house, tried to light candles. So he said he just wanted to blow the house up.
Wow. That's why he was crying.
But it didn't work.
Blow the house up over that shit.
Yeah, like I said, it
So
was it was more off of like him not getting the emotional approval from his father. Like I said, his older brother was like being hit with the whole bill. You feel me? Like you a grown ass man now, like take care of all this shit. You know what I'm saying? In terms of financially. Since the younger one was still in school, like and he didn't want to play football, he played in a band. His dad was like, yeah, he wasn't really fucking with him,
supporting that.
him. Yeah,
So
at all.
there's a few things to unpack with this, right? Like
Mhm.
the fact that the older. So. Oh, Lauren, I hope you're clipping that whole. You need to be clipping. This is good because
Mhm.
for the sake of all this argument that we have in these spaces about the impact that a father makes, whether he's actively
Mhm.
in the home or not, there's
Right.
there's an example of even when you're in the home and you're not active. I had a boyfriend at the time who whose father was very, very stoic and very stern, and he retired from be able to retire from one automotive plant is great in Michigan, but if you were able to work at two automotive plants and then retire from both, you're just that's awesome, right?
Mhm.
Um, so, but when you talk about things like how he didn't come to any of the events or come to any performances,
Mhm.
when my ex would talk about that, he would counter it with all the things that, well, I didn't have to ever come to an empty refrigerator. I always had my clothes, I
Mhm.
always had things that I wanted. So kind of it balanced out for what he was missing,
Mhm.
right? And but that triggered that thought because even though his father was there, he was absent. What do you call it? Absent but not present, right?
Right.
Um, and then you counter that with the fact that we actually have absentee fathers; they physically aren't in the building, right? And
Mhm.
then we see that this impact from a child who is almost even more detrimental to even watch you be disappointed in me and have to sit there and watch you and feel the disappointment. And
Mhm.
then at what point was there any, I mean, I'm pretty sure the way this turned out, we can say, obviously, when we have those kind of arguments, what happened to the argument where you were supposed to be teaching your son how to regulate himself, how to regulate his emotions? Oh, except for we forgot the caveat that only if he does what you want him to do, and so you can live through him vicariously. We see that with dance moms, right? We see that
That
all the time with
that's exact. Yes.
the dancing dolls and the dance moms. Like these women are legitly pissed that their daughter didn't make
Shout
it.
out to Barb. I know, that's
You
what
know
I
what I
said
mean?
too. I was like, all this vicarious living, like you had your time, sir. Like if you didn't do the right thing, then you gonna have to just hang that up. Like, you know what I'm
But
saying?
then that
Trying to
goes
trying
back
to
to
push
that
your
argument.
son.
That goes back to that part of the argument you guys were having, where when you guys those like, well, who was that? That Trey Trey and you guys, the Trey Trey and you were
Mhm.
saying earlier, when there's those people who, when they decided that when they had a child, they decided to shift gears. So it
Right.
would you wouldn't be in vicarious live through you mode if
Yeah.
you shifted gears, because the vicarious live through you is that you're still wishing you could have done this at this point, but you couldn't because you had me, so now you want me to do it.
Right. Yeah, but it's like
You couldn't be a majorette and toilet because you were pregnant with me because you were being a fast ass parent, a mom, and now you're a parent and you had me, so now you want me to be a majorette, and I hate this shit.
mhm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
So
why I'm like, we're not raising robots, you know what I'm
it
saying?
defunks
People.
every argument though. Like the father in
Mhm.
the home, good. Father out the home, good. The parents embedding, showing the kids how to regulate emotions isn't working because the parents aren't showing them. There's no way this boy could be this mad from shit that was stemming back from you never coming to my performances.
Man, and you know what? It's crazy because I mean, I've only heard this through the grapevine, right? But like, I don't know, like one of the things that I guess like my mom, like she said that she was, when it comes to in-laws and stuff like that, that's always kind of tricky. Sometimes it's like a love-hate type of relationship. But like, I wanted to know like exactly, like especially with my mom and my dad's parents, like her in-laws, like why aren't y'all like close? And like she kind of explained to me that like, you know, my grandparents were not, they were kind of on that same type of tip, like my dad was a short king, you know what I'm saying? He's not he's not tall. Um, but like hearing things from
Welcome
his
to the
father,
club.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like, his dad is my grandfather was like 6'1", you know what I'm saying? So like he wanted to play football, he wanted to play baseball, and oh, Kenny, you too small for, you know what I'm saying? Just always saying something to like deter him.
Wear him down, yeah.
Encourage
Wear him
Yeah.
him.
down. Deter
Yeah.
him.
But it's crazy because he still played in the neighborhood and stuff. Matter of fact, when I played softball, I used his glove. It was perfect. It was good and worn in. You know what I'm saying? Like I could just go ahead and snap and grab that ball. I ain't had to break it in or nothing. But you know what I'm saying? That type of I guess interaction with your kids. I mean, even to the point where like my parents said we always made sure to visit my mom's side of the family. But when it came to my dad's side of the family, they would just send us, obligatory to see the grandparents, go to vacation Bible school. But my parents wouldn't stay up there with them. They would stay, when we went to go visit my mom's side of the family because my dad felt more comfortable and more accepted by her side of the family, which was crazy. I mean, it was a good thing for him, you know what I mean? Especially being married into the family. But like his dad was not encouraging at all. And it's just like, damn, it's totally different from the grandfather that I know. You know what I mean? Because of course he didn't treat us grandkids like that. But when it came to his son, man, he probably thought he was going to be a little taller. He probably thought he was going to be able to do this and do that. You feel
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
my
Yep.
dad was an auditor. You know what I'm saying? Like he worked for the IRS all the way up until his passing. College graduate, excellent father. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sorry to
so
hear
all that,
that.
I appreciate it. But yeah, that was that's when I was a teenager. So it's like it just is what it is. But yeah, it always made me sad, you know what I'm saying, a little bit to be like, damn, like why they trying to tell my pops, you know what I'm saying, that he can't do nothing? Like, cause I was always one of the smaller ones on the team, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes the smallest people be having the most heart when they're encouraged. You know what I'm saying? They be diving and sacrificing everything just to catch that ball or to get that rebound or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's about encouragement.
I mean, football, right?
What's
Isn't the
up, brown
smallest,
skirt? Hmm.
hey, isn't the smallest player on the football like, I don't know, H&M? Is it like the running guy, the man in motion, or is he, I don't know. I know
Mhm.
there's a
Wait,
small
say that
position
again.
for a smaller. There's a position for a smaller statured man on a football field. Because I knew a guy that literally like was a few inches taller than me, and he was like the man in motion, like the guy that runs. I
Okay.
don't know,
Yeah, he's the
but
guy that runs. He's the guy that runs around before the play is initiated.
before the yeah, but then
Oh,
that's a
okay.
smaller. That's a position for a smaller person, a smaller statured
Yep.
person.
Mhm.
I know when I was
Okay,
in middle
thank you,
school.
Ron Bird. It's the running back. I wanted to say running back, but I didn't want to sound like an idiot. So thank you, because I thought it was running back too. Because I remember him saying
Shout out
that
to
that's a
Ron
position for
Bird.
a smaller individual. So if you were a smaller statured dude, you could still play football, but you can't only be in so many positions. And he said for him that was one of the positions that was in line for him. Because I was like, you're running before anything ever happens, and he was explaining to me that he was the man in motion. And I just remember like that's crazy because you're only like a little bit bigger than me. So aren't you supposed to be like huge playing football? And he was like, yeah, y'all got that all fucked up.
Yeah, not with every position. No. Yeah,
Yeah,
if he's running the ball, you don't want him to be too big. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be able to cut up the field and
yeah,
juke
because those
people
big
out.
guys,
Mhm.
while they have size and stature, they don't have as much speed compared to the smaller people. The
Mm-hmm.
smaller guys can run. I'm talking track and field. Jesse Owens run.
Mhm. But then
Yeah,
they'll
he was
put the
small too.
bigger
He's a shorter
guys
guy.
on defense and have them as linemen and
Yeah,
shit.
the
You know
bigger
what I'm
guys
saying?
can probably run the blitz and shit, or you know,
So even to
fend off
say like
somebody.
even if you're smaller, you can still play football. And I know you can play basketball because what Spud
Uh,
Webb, is that his name?
Muggsy
absolutely.
Bogues.
Yes. Muggsy
Muggsy,
Bogues.
yeah,
Yeah.
Muggsy
All of them
Bogues.
people.
It's another player that's just short too, like that. That's like a whole 5'6" type of thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
He's a short,
he's
and
fast.
like
Yeah.
extremely
What's his
short. Like
name?
obviously,
Nate Robinson.
like I forget, he's a dark skinned player. He's dark skinned, brown skin. I just remember I
I
can
know Nate
visualize him.
Robinson is like 5'9" or something like that, but he was winning them slam dunk contests.
Yeah,
Nigga had
so
ups. Yeah, I mean, but I just, it's like I said, it's just, that type of that type of quote unquote motivation. I don't know, it just don't work for me. I hear certain people, they be like, I love it when people tell me what I can't do. I don't really need that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I
because
That
don't
that
either.
that
there's a
don't
lot
work
of
for
you
me.
can't do stuff that I don't. You're right. I can't do. I can't pee standing up. You're right. I cannot without some sort of help. I don't have the apparatuses. You're right. So I can't. There's certain things that I can't do because it shouldn't be me to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there, yeah, but it's not like what y'all talking about is someone trying to challenge their motivation. No, they're literally like, yeah, you're too short to play basketball, and then you see short people playing basketball. So that's not a realistic, I
Shoot,
see
I
what you're
played.
saying, Lauren. It's like that don't bother me because it's not like I'm out here trying to be on an WNBA.
Right. But I mean, just in especially it's like when you talk about like this is school, school level sports. Like, why would you know what I'm saying, tell your kid that they can't do something? Like, that's to me is just like, I don't know. That's a recipe for disaster. Like, you want to vibrate your child as high as you can because there's always going to be some dumbass child who don't like their ears or wants to make fun of them because of what kind of car they parents drive or you know what I'm saying, any kind of stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when it comes to being a parent, like if you love these little people, like let them be them and enjoy the journey. Like just enjoy watching them grow and develop into the people that they were born to be instead of who you want them to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Raise a child in the way that they must grow, i.e. the good word. So Lauren, what you got? LA, what you got? Like 3? You have 3, right?
No, why y'all always y'all? No, I
Sorry,
have
you have
two.
2.
Yeah, you try to give me extra one. Lord have
An
mercy.
extra. You got 2. You have 2 birthed out your hoo-hoo, right? 2 hoo-hoo babies, right?
I have C-section, so no,
Oh,
the hoo
well,
hoo is
they
still
still
fresh.
okay. Okay, then I'm like, because that be making a difference when I talk to y'all moms. They be like, "Woo, child, like, this one came out my hoo hoo." I be like, "Okay, well, I understand." The
Yeah, I
difference.
mean,
You feel
I did.
differently about this child when you've hoo-hooed them. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get to experience that, unfortunately. They, now it's like a factory. You in labor for about good 9, 10 hours, and it happened to my nephew's mom as well, where, oh, the baby's in distress, we need an emergency C-section. They just want to get you out of there. They don't want to
Hmm.
wait for you to do it natural like our parents did, 23 hours of labor. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? They be wanting you in and out. Like, I took a nap during my labor. Like, that's how like mild it was. But my water had broke. So of course I need to be at the hospital. But
Hmm.
yeah, unfortunately I had both of them C-section. So
Hey, Dub. Now you know better not to ask me that question, baby, because the whole internet knows I do not have any children. I think there's even a video about my womb out there about how messed up that is. But
oh god, we
anyway,
not finna go there. Like
you just
especially
because don't
You
ask
ain't
me
gotta
considering the
something
go
that's so
source.
there.
Like
obvious.
fuck that. We not you can't even you gotta consider the source. Fuck that. No.
No, right. So if you want to know about how many kids I have, there's literally footage. So I was
That's
asking because with the whole having multiple children, the first one is everyone agrees that it's the trial and error child, right? The first one. So that's why I kind of didn't like connect with him with saying, and the guy in the video with him and the kids, doing what they did to their parents, saying like, I bear the brunt. I had all this going on. I get the whole, your parents are stern on you. Your parents are, trying to raise you into a certain way, because you've tapped on this before where you said it, where you said just kind of raise the child in the way that they grow up, the way that they go to be. Well, the second video was the boy transgender, so he's growing into where he thinks that he's supposed to be growing, right? The way that he was meant to be, right? And there's
Man,
a
mama
there's
even
a
mentioned that the transitioning boy is a parent. So became a mother first and then transitioned.
wait a minute, I missed that. What happened, Hannah? He did what now?
The mama said that, I'm saying, like, but you're a parent now. And he was like, yeah, and because I am a parent, I'm gonna love my child and I'm gonna, accept them for who they are. So
Oh, okay, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
you know, she had a child before she transitioned because I don't know how that
Well,
happened.
to to that, listen, okay? I'm just gonna be all over the place with this, but
It's
to
just a
that
full of
point,
confusion. I'm sorry, go ahead, honey.
it's to that point. There's a recent video released supposed to be where a husband deleted his now to be wife because he found out that he was his long lost brother. Um, so to saying that to where how did he
I
have,
don't
he grew up and he realized that he was dating his brother, and he's like, oh wait a minute, the person had a childhood transition. They transitioned during their childhood. So to that point, to say that they never grew up actually experiencing what it's supposed to feel like being a girl, but they was immediately a boy. In this case, they were turned into a girl. But I'm saying that to say, like, for the well, I didn't even want to talk about that, but I was asking about the how many kids you had, because for some reason we get lost in like I mentioned this earlier, the fact that the birth order, who's up here? Oh, LA. We get lost in
Yeah, it's
this
just me.
birth order factor where some stuff falls on the child because the when they were born into the family, right? Some stuff just falls on you. Some stuff is just a part of your life only because of where you fall in the family. And with that one kid, it just didn't seem like. I mean, I don't know. I guess I have a disconnect with some people who kind of go there with the whole I'm the oldest and this is what happened, or I'm the youngest and this is what happened, because everyone has the same. To me, they all have the same scenario in some way, fashion, or form, where you're gonna have something more of a brunt. You're gonna be taking it all because your parents don't know what they're doing because you're the first kid. You're gonna get all the spanking. You're gonna get all the punishments. But for at the end of the line, I also understand him at the end. Not that I want to, delete my parents, but when you're little, you think like, man, what the hell? Like, there's no one else. Everyone else is smaller than me. Everyone else is younger than me. And at the same time, I'm growing up with you. I'm learning with you. I'm learning what you're doing while you're learning what I'm doing. Because by the time the second and third kid comes around, you've now had practice in it. But I don't have practice in having a second and third parent. You have practice in having second and third kids. You know what I mean? It's like, so we did a different version of that parent by the second child. And by the third child, we get another version of that parent. And then by the fourth child, we get another version of that parent. So you having two kids,
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely say that you are a different parent, well, from one to the next.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've even had this conversation. Well, it was more of a significant like conversation for me, like when I had it with my older sister, because like my kids are only a year and a month apart, but me and my sister were 9 years apart. So that's when I was like, when she was, we've had that conversation. It's like, no, like mom and dad were not the same people, you know what I'm saying? Like when y'all came along, as when I was born, because they were young parents and they were still so that's when I really had to like just listen and just respect what she was saying, you know what I'm saying? Because yeah, I know a different version of my mom and dad, but with her being the firstborn, and them being what 19 and 21, like young as hell, you feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I can definitely understand that parents are different, depending on, of course, as they get older and as they gain experience with these, with their kids.
I think even that year apart, because then that's safe to say that you're not the same this year as you were last year, right? You had some sort, even if there were soft changes, there's something that adjusted from one kid to the next. So, when I see stuff like that, it's like those kids are getting they have two different versions of what his life is like living with their parents, and then they also go to show, I don't know, because I don't have kids, but I do see it in other people's kids, and then Lauren, you look at your own children and wonder, how much does my approval really matter? How much, because obviously this really mattered, whether or not they were in their father's good approval, in their good graces. Like they wanted to be not a disappointment. They didn't want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it was that, because it just seemed like, from the part that I heard and then from what you told me on top of it, and just other scenarios that are just like this, where they're seeking something from some sort of, it's not satisfying them. They're not getting what from their father, from their mom.
Well, I mean,
and that's crazy that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying that's crazy to me. Like, that's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much. Because I mean, I just know there was a time it's like, okay, I wanted my mom to be like, good job. But then you do, after a while, I guess you go one direction or the other. So I guess that's the other direction. Because I guess the other direction is, I don't really care if my parents think I do a good job. Because when I was looking for it, they didn't tell me. So some kids, I guess, take it all the way to, we got adults right now that are still fucked up because their dad never came to their recital.
Yeah. Damn. I was gonna say something.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, I think even like I was talking about, I know what it was. I was even talking about this with discipline. Hang on just a second.
Hey y'all.
Just give me a second. Okay. But no, I was even saying the same thing. Like it's like the one reason like why nobody I really know like spanks their kids. You know what I'm saying? Because like when I was a kid and it was all over and said and done or whatever, I was just like, do my parents still love me? Goddamn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you still as a kid just want to know that your parents care. You know what I'm saying? Like you just got done whooping my ass. Like, do you like me at all? Like, you know what I'm saying? A kid might even come and try to crawl up into your lap, you know what I'm saying, and get a hug after you done whoop their ass, you know what I'm saying? Because they just want to know that you still love them. So I think the approval, especially, from a parent's perspective, like that's huge. That's huge. I was listening, not listening, I was reading in the chat. I get it. It was from Royce, but he was just saying, like, if you, once you figure out that your parents don't fuck with you like that, just move on. But it's like that's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because these are your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Like,
your village.
I didn't give a damn about what other people said about me. You know what I'm saying? Out on the street, because you don't know me.
But if my peoples said something about like I ain't gonna be shit, oh, that would have broke my
Mhm.
heart, bruh. Because I'd have been
Right.
like, you know me better than anybody else. Like you must be telling the truth. You, like you said, you brought me into this world. You must have seen everything type shit. I ain't gonna be shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that type of stuff matters.
And
That
see,
type of stuff
in the
matters.
broken homes, we can account for it being some animosity towards the other parent, right? But then in this situation where both parents are there, it's not like I'm looking at you and you remind me of your father, your weak ass daddy who left us. So then me saying you ain't gonna be shit is really projecting how I feel about him because you look just
Mhm.
like him. It's not so much that you're not going to be nothing. You're going to be somebody. It's just I'm putting on you how I feel about your daddy, your weak ass daddy. So in the situations where we see like some of the other cases where like the Menendez where they
Mhm.
you know pardon the Menendez what happened to them but just saying the other cases where the parents have been in this situation or worse from the children there where it's not always abuse or well that's we can't say that because according to these two kids, that's mental abuse, right? That's
Mhm.
emotional and mental because it's a lack of emotions that they didn't get from their father, and then the mental turmoil that they were going back and forth in their mind, and then the neglect. So I guess it's tied to
Mhm.
some abuse along the way for all of it. But I mean,
Yeah,
to
and
say
all
you're not
abuse
being
doesn't
picked up
leave
and dragged
physical
into a
scars.
toilet, right? You're not being thrown into a basement or you're putting your head in the toilet or something like that. You're not.
Right.
He's just not talking to you, which is I guess just as bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, like even like when I hear the silent treatment, like that's abusive as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't want to be here, but if you just stonewalling somebody and you
Mm.
ignoring everything that they say, you know what I'm saying, and you're not talking, I'm not talking today. Like I don't know. To me, that's kind of like I don't know how to put it, but it's just like I mean, besides it being immature as hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest. Like, it's just it is kind of abusive to a certain degree. Because why can't you
Mhm.
just tell me how you feel? You know what I'm saying? So we can get over this, so I can at least know what how to move around the rest of my day. You know what I'm saying? Instead of worrying or what I'm saying, or just being anxious or have anxiety about whatever the unspoken is. Like just say it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
'Cause
Prince Stella wins again. That means that
as always.
as far as back as we can know in time, men have they say what she said men suffer from alexithymia, which they the lack of the unconnecting and cognizant cognition, right? They can't put into words
Mhm.
how they're
How
feeling.
they feel. Mhm.
They have to we now realize they have to learn if they don't have the foundation around them, the moms, the aunties, the people that
Mhm.
are talking to them to encourage communication, then they go through their whole life and then they reproduce and have more little alexithymic little children, and
Right.
then now no one can communicate because you can't communicate except for love and anger, and then now you can't communicate to your child how you feel about them unless it's drastic, like one way or the other, right? So that's just crazy. Like Prince Ella wins again because I'm just saying how this is really interesting. How a lot of this is full of circle, like literally panels and panels of conversation of watching this happen, like listening to people talk about this very very thing, this very dynamic, and not even knowing that they're talking, that they're actually dissecting it because they think it's just side talk. It's like, oh well, they don't like their parents anyway, and they want to just chalk it up and say that's how what white kids do. No, it's been a lot of kids off in there doing something. That the video I'm talking about with the woman who's crying because she says it says on there I took away my son's phone and you can see her big screen TV just knocked over and she's crying like why would he do
Mhm.
this? That's that's
Mhm.
that's even just to say that's staged. Okay, we can we can chalk it up and say yes, some of it's staged. But what about the ones that's overshadowing on the ones that aren't staged? That's a real life reaction. That guy running over, taking all that his son's video games and the game console outside and driving over with his tractor, and his son literally crying and breaking down in tears. That's like real. That's somebody's real reality.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy that there's nothing you can do with that connection with that child. There's nothing these kids are tied into and reacting. Wait, puppy, they're reacting and they're tied into something way more stronger. Come here, and that's come here. You heard me say come here. You just had to get your last bark out. You heard him. You heard that last
Uh-huh.
bark.
Yeah. Woo.
He
And
get,
nigga was like, shit.
as
They
he
gonna
walked,
try
as he turned away from the door, he was like whoop, and then turned away from the door. But
you.
he had to make sure that bark got towards the door before he had to come back because he had to come back. But you know what I'm saying? It's like never. I don't remember even we didn't hear about stories like this. Yeah, reality needs to get a job. His reality.
What's up, 187?
Yeah, you know what
Why
I'm talking
so
about. What he said.
serious?
Yeah, why so serious? You know what I'm talking about. He said, "Man, fuck his reality. He needs to get." His dad said that. That was the one video. The dad is like, "Get out here
Damn.
and get a job. Go get a job." He's like, "I'm gonna be a gamer, a YouTuber," and it's crazy because it's like there are real careers, there are real fields like that, but of course, you know, just like with the basketball thing, like it's only one. You know, it's one dimensional to the parent. The only thing your big old tall self can do is play football. You know, not whether I like it or not. You know, not roll the child up in the way that they're meant to go, realizing that my child's a whole nerd out here, even though they look like what was that? That was a movie. It was one of those black movies where they the mom was like, my son's gonna be a basketball player, and he was like, no, mom, I have like a 4.7 GPA and I got accepted to Harvard. And she's like, yeah, so what? He's like, well, mom, I'm gonna be a doctor. She's like, yeah, but you're not gonna be a basketball player. Like, what the fuck is wrong
Oh
with you?
my God.
And he was like
Mama.
really he was really trying to through the whole movie. The cousin was a basketball player, and she'd be like, well, what about your cousin? Don't forget to bring your cousin. And the cousin's like, I'm not trying to hear none of this shit. I got accepted to MIT when I was 17. My mom doesn't even know I go to college. Like the whole idea was like
Whoa.
she didn't even understand that her son was you gonna be a doctor. Like she had to fit like it had to hit her like, wait, my son is going to be a doctor. Yeah, your son, I got accepted to medical. Like, I'm going to go, this is what my path is. And you've been oblivious because you're like, I want you to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the whole, just seeing that, like, that's crazy because, I mean, I'm okay. My parents didn't come to shit I did because they didn't think I should have been doing, like, okay, you're not going to be in the marching band forever, but I love this. But now look at Dancing Damn Dolls.
Exactly.
Okay, careers. Where are these girls going? Some of these girls left and they're dancing for Beyonce. It's just like I don't know, Lauren. I don't know. I understand it as being a child, and I understand it when I see other people's kids. You know, when I see other people's kids, and I've dealt with other people's kids, and I've nannies other people's kids, and babysat, take care of, taught them in schools. That there's a big disconnect when that happens. And you can see to these kids that they don't want to do that or they don't want to be whatever it is. I've never even given any thought until seeing this. How much did it really matter that your parents were like, good job?
Mm-hmm. It matters. It matters, man.
And how you just can grow up with like, okay, fine. And then you get that because my generation, my parents were always telling me, you need to be self-sufficient on your own. How you need to tell yourself good job. So it doesn't matter if you ever tell me.
Right. No, because like I said, that's where a lot of people end up growing up and having these other things that they're just looking for. You know what I'm saying? They're accepting behavior that, they shouldn't even be accepting because they just, like, okay, for example, the people who, well, I shouldn't have to tell you, I'm proud of you. You should just know. No, we need to hear that. So like when we go outside or these people go outside into the world, they're looking for validation. You know what I'm saying? They're just looking for somebody to say, just to recognize them, to see them. And that's what I'm saying. Like when parents, they think that this stuff isn't important. You're setting your kids up to be like literal food. Okay, for society. There's going to be somebody who's going to see their weakness, that's going to see the chips and the cracks in their foundation, and they're going to prey on that shit. Every time. These manipulators are good.
Yeah, and they're learning as more and more. I mean, the more and more I don't know what this is, but they're learning you more the more and more they are around you. And then that by default they're naturally attracting people that are like you. So they're getting a lot of practice in dealing with those kind of, characteristics. So by the time they get around to you, girl, they had
it's light work
experience. Yeah,
it's light work. They run in circles
work
around your ass, and you can't even. I'm being genuine and I'm being real. I don't understand. Your parents didn't set you up. They ain't set you up right. And sometimes we need to say that. And it's hard to even have conversations with your parents as an adult.
As an adult, because now you grow, I can just say, like, I see all these little videos and they're like, the kids who what do you call it, ghost their parents when they get when they get old and grown up, or disconnect from their parents, they're kind of distant,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Or
I
won't
also
help
look.
them. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, it won't help them. When I worked in the
Ain't
nursing
trying
home,
to
I
be.
saw the other side of how they don't help you either. That I'm glad
Won't even come visit. Ugh.
whoever show that was, who read that full scripture where it said, I think it was you, Lauren, that said, children honor their parents, and it's the comma, and then it says
Oh,
what else?
I didn't read it, but yeah, I definitely know that. I said, and parents don't provoke your children to wrath.
To wrath, right? That's
Yeah.
basically layman's terms. Better not, don't mess with your kids so they will leave your ass
Yeah.
to
Don't
grow
make them
old in a nursing
angry.
home
Yeah, don't make them angry on purpose. Don't
on
sit there
purpose.
and discourage them and act like, being a drill sergeant is going to make them tough or going to make them strong. Being soft and holding them and telling them everything is going to be okay helps too. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People be there's so many different complaints like, oh, black men, we're not allowed, to tell to show our emotions and this, that, and the third. Says who? I mean, if you can't even say them to your father, then who sets that precedent?
My
Men.
brother is still mad at my mom for being a working mother when he was like 10, right? My brother's like 40 something. Okay, so I understand that, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand that we all have, especially if our parents were working. What is that generation called? All the working moms.
Um
Oh, was my mom a boomer? I don't know. I don't
yeah,
keep up.
if she was born in the 50s, she's a boomer.
Okay, well, she's a boomer because then she had another set of kids. So, because me and my sister, we're all like 14 years apart.
Okay.
So, well, and they're 14 years younger than me. So I guess, yeah, she's a boomer. So he's still, and I understand it all. I understand what the whole dynamic is, the DJ show. And he's still mad at my mom and I understand it's probably why it plays out into his relationships and why he doesn't have any kids. I mean, besides the fact that he looks at the world and says, I don't want to bring a child into this world. A lot of young people feel that way. But I do know that I know he's still dealing with my mom being a working mother while he was like 8, 9, and 10, and 11 years old back then. He's like 40 something now, right? So it's whatever that is, whatever that is that happens when there's when the connection is not tight, and how it affects, because we can easily say our man issues are attributed to our father or lack thereof a father, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can always say that latchkey is a term you're looking for. Oh, latchkey. Oh yeah, I was a latchkey. Yep. Or even the same thing with our moms, right? What we had lack thereof with our moms. So I can understand, how he's feeling. I can understand that. But I mean, when I see these videos, LA, then I see these videos of these people saying how they distance themselves from their parents, and how the way you treat your parents now is reflective of how they treated you when you were little. And not even knowing that and then to say that it's not even physical all the time. So not even knowing that, because back then, I'm pretty sure that man was thinking that he was tough loving in his sons. He's got to think all the red
Right.
pill manosphere points, right? I'm raising a boy. He has to be stoic. He can't just be out here crying. He's got to be tough. Didn't he say the boy went to the army or some shit? He was in the military.
He was going to go
The
to the
oldest
Navy.
one.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
The youngest one was going to go he was planning to go to the Navy, but he didn't. I
Okay.
think
So
in the next 6 months, but he couldn't even wait for that. He was like,
okay.
I got to get rid of him
See, he was
now.
gonna go. He was gonna go do something very mannish, very not,
Mhm.
emotional, and then look how he was the main one in there crying. But to say
Yeah,
that,
that's true.
like the father was literally hitting all the key points. So he's a manosphere, red pill, red pill, all that shit. So where it's like we're not even. That's crazy, because where are you supposed to get that from? Where are you supposed to get it from?
Yeah. Yep.
Because
I
if you're
mean,
with your mom too much, then your boy's gonna be a pansy.
exactly. Exactly. You can't win. You know what I'm saying? Like
And your
it's
dad can't give it to you because he doesn't want to look like a bitch.
right. Yeah. I mean, I think that just balance is what it needs to be
That's
kept in
crazy.
mind. You know what I mean? Whether you're a mother or a father, you got to stay balanced. You know what I'm saying? We have both masculine and feminine energy in us, even though people don't want to admit that. It's very true. So
Right.
that's when you tap into that. You know what I'm saying? When your child needs it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if you gotta, I mean, it's amazing to me how, if a father has a young girl and she sees his daughter crying, he's more liable to lower his tone and be more, compassionate to her. But when it's his little boy, he don't show him none of that, not even for a
Right. None of
second.
it.
But it's in him to show it because he can show it for his daughter, right? So it's like that's
Right.
what I'm saying. Like people need to stop, doing that crap. I get it. Like I said, balance. You
And
can't
let me tell
baby
you
and
how
coddle your
triggering what
son
you
all
just
the time,
said.
but you can't make them grow up too fast either.
Let me
What's
tell
that?
you how triggering what you just said, because I used to literally have to ask my ex-boyfriend that, because he would everybody know who he's the one who used to beat me up. When I remember him, you know, being very aggressive to me, and I'm just like, how can you do that when if your daughter cry? Because his thing in their mind is separate. Even
Mhm.
though sometimes what they say they see us as little girls, but then why aren't you seeing me as someone's little girl right now? Because you're a
Mhm.
grown ass woman. The sexuality, the sex, the intercourse, the interaction changes the put you over here, even though you still are someone's daughter, and
Mhm.
even though you are still as gentle and as dainty and as soft as my actual daughter, the who I would never talk to or physically touch this way. But you, grown ass woman, I can beat the shit out of.
Right. No, I
Even though you're
understand.
someone else's daughter, that I would never do that to, because that's a daughter. I don't,
No,
girl.
I feel you. Like you said, it's that separation, the way that they compartmentalize, and well, not mine. They're always different. People in my family and the ones that I create, they're different. But the rest of y'all hoes, like, it's stupid. It's very stupid. We're all somebody's
Girl,
daughter and auntie and sister and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And somebody
that's
holds us
crazy.
in very high regard, regardless if they do or not. So. I do, and I hate to do this again, but I told my daughter that I was gonna run her to this store,
Oh,
and yeah, she wants to get some, like, those the Hello Kitty Sanrio characters.
mm-mm.
It's Hello Kitty, Choco Kitty, Karopi,
Get
um,
up,
Sh-
E.
Pajako, like, yeah, all those, the Twin Stars, what is that, Cinema Roll or something like that. They'd be having stationery and pens and pencils and all kinds of stuff. So she wants to get some things because, according to her, and see, you got to listen to your kids. I asked her why. I said, why do you need certain types of pens and paper and stuff? And she said, because it motivates me and makes me want to take notes in class. Okay, I got you. Sometimes you just need some pretty shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Genesis, you know what I'm talking about. You need one
Girl,
of
you
them
better get
sparkly
your
pens.
Listen, I'm with you. Girl, you better get her legally blonde on. There she have
Right, or the
her
clueless
resume.
with the pom pom on top of the pen. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me? Like I said, I mean, but her motivation was having, something special. Whether, I mean, she got her little pencil pouch and stuff with her little erasers and different, different pencils and markers and pens and all that stuff. But if it motivates her to retain and write down the information, then pens and paper is what you shall have, my dear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can give her
And
just
just
the
think,
regular college ruled shit, but like I said, if that's what motivates her, why would I not listen to that, right?
though, that's a key moment. That's a difference between that mom saying, "Okay, let's go get your little Kadopi or Hello Kitty paper," versus I'm gonna give you this black and white college rule book and write,
Hmm.
and then
This
you're writing
this composition notebook.
composition book. But check this out. Because I'm telling you, I've been there. My mom was like, "Girl, you don't need all that. This is a pen's a pen and paper's paper." Okay, but what I wrote in that day, in that pen and
Hmm.
paper, in that book that day, were feelings and emotions and thoughts that I was not, that you shouldn't be knowing about. Of
Mhm.
me, I'm not some psychopathic stuff where I want to, off my parents, but um, even no, but even that day, just saying that I didn't mind, I didn't care if I hurt myself. And then from my mom, listen, I'm just saying, this is how powerful that moment, what you just said. My mom, me moving all that I did growing up, and my mom still holding our few things at her house, right? Because her house hasn't moved in 100 years. And she's moving, right? Because everyone's out the house. She got to move out this big old house to somewhere smaller for her and my stepdad. And now she runs across a crate, girl. That's how old my stuff is, and been in the same box, in the same crate, girl, the milk crate.
Damn.
Um, yes, girl. I used to keep all my stuff in the milk crate. And then she finds my crate as she's moving things in my old marching band uniform and the whole nine. And she starts to read my
Mm.
my poems and my stories. That I would write a story about my life, but in third person, like, and she did this and her mom and all that. And she read it across it, and she noticed that even in the pretty book with the little silk string that had the pink silk string, and the book was leather, and I had the beautiful pen with the little heart at the tip of it, the thoughts and things that I wrote were not as dark or not as
Mm.
depressing as the things I wrote in the other book, when you just gave me a book as a book and a pen as a pen.
Got you.
So I'm just
Damn.
saying, for myself, that I have both. I have beautiful, beautiful writing books, and I also have a couple of plain old ugly compositions. And I just can tell you that the same ideas and thoughts are not in those. And that's how hard that hit me when you said that. Because I'm like, shut the fuck up. My books are like that. I have brown ugly ones. I have college. I have about 6 or 7 of them black and white ones.
Right.
But I also have a pink one that's beautiful, that has a silk string where it separates the pages, and all the pages have little, gold trimming. I also have some other ones
Mhm.
that's fuzzy and it has, a little bell on the front of it. Those thoughts and those moments and those emotions were different than that, and then what's in the other books. And I don't know whether that was unconscious or conscious, because it's over a course of a span of years when I was young. So was I doing that on purpose, or was just that's what was producing? So the days that my mom was like, it's just a pencil and paper, here, take this. And then the days I had a pink pad that smelled like roses, my thoughts were probably a little more pink pad and smelling like roses. I'm just saying,
Right.
for me, that's what happened.
No,
So,
I feel you. I mean, that is very deep. I mean, I'm
girl, you
just
deep me this
saying
thing. I was like, girl,
I'm just saying stuff as it like literally comes to me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if there's certain things that I think about, I buy like my nieces and things like that, especially at Christmas time, I always buy them a journal. You know what I mean? Every year they got a different one. They probably don't even use them, but
hmm
just like I said, that motivation just to want to use it because it's nice, it's pretty, or whatever the case might be. So,
that
yeah.
makes sense, girl. Because when my sister wanted B2K folder, I went and got them B2K folder, honey. If you're gonna put your homework in it and bring it home and do the homework, then B2K folders is what you're gonna have, honey. They had Obarion and Lil Fizz and Raspberry. I
Right.
said, yep.
Looking like,
Do you,
uh-huh.
what else do you need? You need a pad, you need a pen, you need the B2K crayons, because whatever it was, when my sister went SpongeBob, do you need SpongeBob folder, SpongeBob book, whatever's gonna keep you motivated. So I believe that energy, because to this day, like I said, I have a crate of books over the years, and there are some composition books in there, but then there's some beautiful, beautiful writing pads in there. So I would say, yeah, man. Now that I think about it, it was different. But
Yeah.
even now, I have 2 different books I write in now, and I can definitely tell there's 2 different energies with those 2 books.
Mhm.
Wow, look at Lauren.
Yeah. But
Look
yeah,
at
let me go ahead.
you.
Let me go ahead and get her to this store. We got a half an hour. Thankfully, it's close. But I'll be back, okay? We definitely got to talk some more about just more deeper concepts, instead of all this DMP, man. But I appreciate you, Jen, as always.
Oh, yay.
I'm sorry, H&M. He was trying to come up in the back. That's why I was like, no. If I don't leave now, the store is going to close, and this is day number 3 that I put it off. So I gotta, I gotta do
Oh,
it.
no.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it. But I appreciate you joining me, my love.
All right. Yay.
All right, I'm getting ready to shut it down. Do you have any last words or thoughts?
No, that was a good thought that you just gave me.
Okay. Well, we can definitely, like I said, continue the conversation. It's just the timing is horrible.
And now you're going
So,
out.
gotcha. Yeah, just for a second, but then I'll probably be back in like 45 minutes because I'm just, like I said, going to the stationery store, get her stuff that's gonna motivate her. So
All right,
doing
well, be
parent
here.
things. All right, honey. I'll hit you up. I'll reach out to you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, Jen. And thank you everybody that showed back up today. Thanks for everybody at the panel. Sorry, H&M. Like I said, I really forgot that I told her that I was gonna go today. I'm like, damn, we should have went after school, but I told y'all I was gonna be back, and now I have to do my parenting thing. You know what I'm saying? You make promises, you make commitments, you gotta follow through. You gotta let these little people know that they're important in your life. All right. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. Of course, we're gonna talk about this again. I can see that y'all. This is a very important topic to not only me but to a lot of people out there. So we'll go ahead and end it off now. I'll see you guys around these YouTube streets. All right. Peace out.
The world is a real place where things aren't perfect. It's all about the journey. And where are you going? Fire in my eyes, I keep on growing. This is a little personal. The LA Project Show.